Hello, about Canadian Living community. How are you all doing? Happy to be here with all of you. I am Perlette and I hope all is going well. So today's topic is, so you moved to Canada, and this is some basic information that's good to know as a newcomer, right? And I hope you'll find this information useful. This is an introductory information that will be helpful to you as you go about your everyday life here in Canada. Canada is a place of order, and it is a diverse and vibrant, it has diverse and vibrant communities. So it is my pleasure to share these with you. So as you know, Canada is a country in North America, and our famous neighbor is the United States of America, the US, right? The capital of Canada is Ottawa, and the official languages in Canada, two official languages, English and French. And there are many signs all over. Wherever you go, once there's an English sign, whether it's welcome to Canada or the exit, there's always the French equivalent there, because those are the official languages, right? So you will observe those signs as you go about your day-to-day life. There are 3 levels of government in Canada, right? And all levels have specific roles and responsibilities. So we'll start off with the federal government. The federal government is for all of Canada, right? It affects, the laws affect the entire Canada. And then we have the provincial or territorial government, right? And it's equivalent to like what you would call the state in the US, right? They will say different state. So in Canada, we have the provincial or territorial government, and that's for a specific area, the province, right? That's the government for the province. And the law affect the province and the territory that it's in. And lastly, you have the municipal government, and they establish bylaws that affect specific cities, towns, and villages, right? So those are the 3 levels of government. So can you drop in the comments for me, which level of government affects the entire Canada? Drop in the comments. I want to make sure that you are with me, you are participating. So yeah, just drop in the comments which government is for all of Canada. Remember, there are 3 levels, so which one? Okay, there are 10 provinces in Canada and 3 territories, right? And I'll show you this. When I was new to Canada, I bought this because I wanted to remember, right? So can you see that? Yeah. So those are the territories, the provinces and territories. So let me list them for you. You have Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, New Brunswick, Newfoundland and Labrador, Nova Scotia, Ontario, the province of Ontario, Prince Edward Island, Quebec, and Saskatchewan, right? Those are the 10 provinces, 5 and 5, 10 provinces. And we have 3 territories, and they are the Northwest Territories, Nunavut, and Yukon Territory. So drop in the comments. Let me know which province you live in. Which province you live in. I live in the province of Ontario. So let me know which province you live in. All right. So the provinces, as I mentioned to you before, are similar to what they have in the states, right? The US, they call it state. But here we call it provinces. And the provinces have their own government, right? You have like the premier, 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 they pronounce it, right? Who is like the head of Ontario. And I'll go through a few more things, but yes, we refer to our head. He makes a decision right now. It's a gentleman, so he is the premier of Ontario. All right. And some stats for you, right? Some stats. I looked up some stats just for you. Canada's smallest province is 280 kilometers long, and it is Prince Edward Island, and that is the smallest province in Canada. Canada's largest and busiest city is Toronto. Oh my goodness, Toronto is so busy. So let me know, as I asked you before, which province are you in, right? And which city do you live in? Are you living in Toronto? So Canada's largest and busiest city is Toronto. Another stat that I want to tell you about is that personal taxes are due April 30th each year, right? So you get to do your taxes, and some people get a refund, or some people might have to pay more money because they take the taxes off your salary, that kind of thing, right? So yes, April 30th, tax is always tax time. Okay, so I want to share this with you. In Canada, we say, and then I'm going to share with you in the US, they say, right? Because because all the time people are making reference to the US, the USA, because they're our neighbor. And so in Canada, our leader, the leader of the country, we refer to him as Prime Minister, right? Right now, it's male, so we say him, or Prime Minister. And in the US, they refer to the leader of their country as President, but in Canada, it's Prime Minister. The head of government in the province, right? Remember earlier I mentioned to you the Premier, right? Premier, whereas in the US, it's the governor, right? In Canada, we refer to social insurance number, and that is like a 9-digit number that you need when you start working. They need that number so it can be linked to your taxes, that kind of thing. It's a very important number that you can't share with people. It's confidential, right, once you have it. But in the US, they call it Social Security number, right? I give this to you because we're always making reference, although we're in Canada, to what the US call it. And then in Canada, we refer to postal code as part of your address, right? Whereas in the US, they call it zip code, right? And in Canada, the postal code is always a letter, then a number, then a letter. And then the second part of it is a number, a letter, a number, right? For example, like N6E, 1L, and there's a number, right? Something like that. And then in Canada, we refer to, washroom. We like public areas. When you go to the mall, you will see the sign washrooms, right? But in the US, they call it restroom. So those are some little facts that will be helpful to you when you're new to Canada. Okay, so we move on to your address. So when it comes to your address, if you are living in an apartment building or a condominium, and condominiums, we call them condo, right? They're big buildings, have so many people. They're like apartment buildings. Make sure you always put your unit number. Your unit number is so important because everybody has the same address, right? The location of that building, but you need to put in your specific unit number. Otherwise, you'll have problem getting your mail, right? When they drop the mail, they won't know which unit number, and every unit number normally has a mail slot. So just ensure that you put your unit number. If you are living in what they call a duplex, so this is like a house, but it has many different people living in different parts of it, right? Or you're living in a house, a standalone house, but they rent out all three floors. So the top one would be the upper floor. The one in the middle would be referred to as the main floor. And the one in the basement, lower, is referred to as lower. So lower floor. So just make sure when you do your address, if you're living in a duplex or in a house where there are many different people, everybody occupy a different floor, you write which floor you're on, whether it's upper, main floor, or lower, right? You can put lower or you can put basement, right? Make sure so that you can get your mail. Otherwise, it will be problematic because everybody shares the same address, but you all share a different floor, right? right? Another thing, the post office. So you mail, Canada Post is where you will go to mail your letters or packages, or if they try to deliver something deliver something to you, you're not home, they will leave a notification, a little notice for you to pick up your mail or your package at a later date. And you would go to the nearest post office, right? And the post office, Canada Post, is in Shoppers Drug Mart. So Shoppers Drug Mart is a pharmacy, but that is where you can go to pick up your mail, or, you know, you will get familiar with where the post office is. Let's move on to, I want to share some laws and expectations while living in Canada. Right, these are some things I wish I knew when I came, so I hope you find them helpful, right? Okay, so always watch out for emergency vehicles. And when I say that, I mean police, fire, ambulance. And I got a little brochure pamphlet to show you, right? And they have it in English and in French, right? English and French. As I told you, Canada's official languages are English and French. So they have to, it is required that everything be in English and French. And here it says that you take lights and sirens seriously. When you hear the siren coming, you know, take them seriously and safely pull to the right and stop. It is the law. It's right here on the brochure, right? Right there. It is the law, right? Let me just hold it up so you can see right there. It's the law, right? For you to pull safely, pull to the right and stop. So you can allow them to pass, because it's the law for any driver who sees and hears an emergency vehicle approaching from either direction to move out of the way, right? And you can always go, I'm in Ontario, so the pamphlet was printed there. You can always go on the Ministry of Transportation website and grab this for yourself, so you know what the rules are, right? You're in a new country. We drive on the right-hand side in Canada, right? We drive on the right-hand side. And I know many times I'm walking and there are sometimes newcomers, and when you're walking, they don't know which side, they're going here, they're going there. Always walk on the right side, right? We drive on the right and we walk on the right-hand side. So you're right, walk on the right-hand side. So the other people who are coming the opposite way, they will have space to walk, right, on the sidewalk. So the next thing is, we wear seatbelt in Canada. It is the law. And here's another brochure again, right, about the seatbelt. We wear seatbelt. I'm just gonna say that seatbelts work. It's restrained drivers are more likely to manage severity of impact if there is an accident, right? It reduces the severity of injuries or risk of death, right? So avoid fines, demerit points, and increase insurance costs. It is the law. Make sure you wear your seatbelt, right? It says, be smart, stay alive, stay alert, right? So that is for your seatbelts, to just make sure you are wearing your seatbelts. Okay, another thing that we do here in Canada, and it is the law, you have to stop for school buses, okay? You have to stop for school buses. When you see the arm of the school buses out, I bring it close up so you can see. You see the arm in red there? When you see the arm out, if you are driving a vehicle, you have to stop. It is the law. It is the law. If you go around a school bus, you're in big trouble, right? You can be fined. Here it is, $2,000. The first offense is $400 to $2,000. Let me put that right there so you can see, right? Drivers or vehicle owners will be charged if their vehicles illegally passes a stopped school bus. fines range from $400 to $2,000, right? So make sure that you do not pass a stopped school bus with its upper red lights flashing. And it is against the law and dangerous, right? So that's the pamphlet there. If you need more information, you can always Google it and find out, right? Next thing is no smoking or vaping close to entrances and exits of public spaces, right? You cannot, there is a bylaw. Remember, we're talking about the different levels of government. And for the province where you live, there are laws, and the municipality, which is a third level, right? Municipal government. They have bylaws for those. And there's a bylaw, no smoking or vaping close to the entrance or exits of public spaces. And they always have signs posted to let you know that you cannot smoke or vape close to those buildings, especially in public areas, hospitals, schools, like workplaces. It is not allowed, Okay, another bylaw that we have here in Canada, I know we have so many things to learn, right? Is if you are a pet owner, if you own a pet, be mindful of the bylaw governing ownership of a pet. You are expected to pick up after your pet. So if you have a dog and you take the dog walking outside of your house on sidewalk or anything, you have to scoop the poop. That's what they call it. Scoop the poop. You bring a plastic bag and you pick it up, tie it, bring it home, and throw it in the garbage, right? It is your responsibility to scoop the poop of your pet. You cannot just leave it around on the lawn or the grass, the road. No, it is your responsibility as a pet owner. Okay. Next thing I wanted to tell you is that Canada has a scent-free policy, right? So many people have allergies and they are allergic to all these different scents. Some people, once they smell it, they cannot breathe. It causes respiratory problems, right? So if you go to the hospitals or many places, you will see fragrance-free, scent-free, right, policies in place. You are not allowed to wear all these strong smells because people could be hurt, they have allergies, people just pass out. You know what I'm saying? So in all these public areas, hospitals, government buildings, you have to ensure that you do not wear strong perfume, or they're fragrance free, not to wear them, right? Scent free or fragrance free, same thing. People have allergies and are sensitive to these things. Another thing to consider or to be reminded about, if you are a vehicle owner, you own a vehicle, you have to park your vehicle in the direction traffic flows. So if traffic is flowing, remember we drive on the right hand side. So if traffic is going going down the street, right, whichever direction traffic flows, that's you have to park on that side of the street, right? You cannot park on the other side. They will give the enforcement officers will give you a ticket and you will have to pay the fine. You have to park in the direction that traffic flows, right? So to avoid that, follow the rules. All right, when you cough, right? When you cough, you are encouraged to either cough in your sleeve or cough in your elbow, right? This will contain the germs, right? So the Ministry of Health, the units encourage you to, if you're coughing, you cough in your sleeve or in your elbow, right? Another thing is that in Canada, public spaces are accessible to people with disabilities, right? Someone in a wheelchair, a scooter, right, who has mobility issues. So public spaces are accessible, and you will see a button outside of some buildings, and also the logo, the sign for someone in a wheelchair, right? Also parking spaces. Do not park in spaces that are assigned for people with disabilities, because they have to park close to buildings so they can get out. They cannot walk far, right? So be mindful of those things. You will always see the sign when you take the bus, the front of the bus, they have courtesy seating and priority seating, which those are for people with disabilities in wheelchair, that kind of thing, so they can get to where, so they're assigned seats, sorry, so the seats are assigned for them. The courtesy seating is like for people who are pregnant and stuff like that, right? So you wouldn't want a pregnant person standing. So the bus will have courtesy seating, and it will have a sign there so you know who they're referring to. And it will have priority seating for people with disabilities. So be mindful of these things when you're taking public transportation, or as you move around, as you come to Canada and be living, right? This is your new home, so you need to know, what's happening here, what the rules are. If you are liking this comment, please like the video. Please like the video. If this information is helpful to you, please like the video, right? And let me know which one of these, of everything that I've listed so far, which one are you going to be so aware of this week? Let me know. Let me know. Okay, so moving on, right? Canada is a country that uses people first language. What do I mean by that? We say the person with a visual impairment. We do not just say the blind man. No, that's not acceptable in Canada. You have to say the person with a visual impairment. People first. We see the person first, not their disability first. You understand? So we use people first language, right? Let me know in the comments, will you be sharing this video so someone else can learn about what the rules are, what the guidelines are, what the laws are here? And these are just some of them that I know when you're new to the country, it's very helpful knowing these things, right? Make sure you go back to the video and just check, just listen again, right? And pick out which one are you gonna, be mindful of, and you just do them one by one, because you can't do everything. And some things might not even be applicable to you at this time, but you try to be familiar with these things. And I will have way more information, similar information like this. So if you're not subscribed to this channel, I encourage you to subscribe so that you can be in the know, right? You will know what's going on. What tips will help you as you're new to Canada, as you live here in your new home. Okay, so also moving forward, so remember to like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, share the video, and just comment. Let me know, right, which one of these tips is most useful to you. Which one of these tips it will be so useful to you? Drop the comment and I'd appreciate that. Okay, moving right along. Learn your directions in Canada. Oh my goodness, when I came, I knew my directions as east, west, north, and south, but I didn't know how to place them. And you would ask someone for a direction, oh, where is this? And they would say, a block. Just go one block and it will be on the northeast corner, or they would say the southwest corner. Oh my goodness, I was lost. So over time, I learned my directions, and now I know where is my north, my east, my west, my north, my south, as to where you're standing. So get familiar with the directions. And one thing with Canada, you have to follow directions. You have to, because they're directions posted. You will go to the hospital or in public spaces and they will say the line forms here, right? Or they will say call to set up an appointment. You need to call, not just go there. You have to follow the rules. Otherwise you go there and you won't get through, right? You have to be able to follow directions and make sure that you are on time, you're punctual. In Canada, they go by the time you, if it's 9 o'clock, they mean 9 o'clock, not a minute past 9, they mean 9. And get into the habit of being early, like even say 5 or 10 minutes early, so that if you have a problem, you can sort it out before the actual time, right? Coming from the Caribbean too, I mean, I had to learn that myself, because just saying that time, you'd say 9 and then it would be something else. But no, in Canada, they are very strict about time. You don't want to waste someone's time. If you set an appointment up, make sure you're on time. If you cannot make it, call the people and reschedule before the actual time you need to show, right? They appreciate that. Then it shows that you respect their time, right? If you're standing in line, don't just stand way up close to the person in their face like that. Give them a little space, right? Give space. They like that in Canada. Not just everybody all packed in tight. No, give people room, right? So they can move around. All right. So those are the tips that I want to share with you today. I will have another video. I'm going to have many more videos that will be so helpful to you, because these are tips I myself had to learn when I was new in Canada. And in my interactions every day, I observe sometimes when our immigrants are new, we have newcomers, there's a little bit of a struggle, and I struggled too when I just came. So this is to help you, and just share the video if you think it will be helpful to others, so that we all do what's required, and we won't have penalties or have to pay fees or any of that thing. So be a force for good in the world. I am counting on you, and I am cheering you on. So I will see you in the next video. So thank you, my About Canadian Living community. I'll see you next time.